What is going on, everybody? This is kind of impromptu. I really wanted to thank everybody who has ever really watched one of my videos and thought I was worthy of hitting that subscribe button. On the channel. I really do appreciate it, and I wanted to do this like little short hangout to talk about that, talk about maybe future plans for the channel, and as well as if you guys have any questions that you want answered from me, we could do that. Also, I might drop some codes in chat, as I do have a lot of codes that developers and publishers send my way. So maybe get your xbox.com page up and you might be able to redeem some stuff. What is going on, everybody? Hey, what's up, Johnny? Jay Zarp, what's going on? Stelmino, Happy Crusher, Boghawk, what's up, buddy? What's up, Saltiest Gaming? What's going on? So yeah, I mean, honestly, when I started the channel like a year ago, what was it, like end of September last year, I had no idea that I would honestly get 5,000, let alone 10, and continuing to grow. It was just something I wanted to do because I liked reviewing games, you know? So to see every single day more and more people hit me up on Twitter or on Xbox Live saying they really appreciate the type of content I provide, whether it's the indie spotlight stuff. Like I enjoy doing the indie spotlight stuff. I know a lot of people don't like that stuff, but I enjoy spotlighting a game that maybe people didn't know about or had no clue existed, because there are a lot of games that come out. So I enjoy making those. And then I kind of transitioned to more news-based stuff, giving my opinions on those things. Because why not? I mean, if other people can do it, why can't I do it, right? Opinions are, as they say, like what? Everyone's got one. But I honestly really do enjoy making YouTube videos. I'll sometimes I'll get up, I'll do my homework or whatever that I have for my classes, and then I'll kind of like look around and be like, all right, what is there anything really interesting to talk about, right? What's up, Alexander? Delilah already with the question. All right, let's go. Hey, Rand, what devs would you pick up if you were Microsoft? Whew. Well, I would have picked up Respawn, but I know why they didn't, because it would have cost a lot of money. What devs would I have picked up if I were Microsoft? They'd have to be independent, and Microsoft would probably have worked with them in the past to be able to buy, want to work with them in the future. Moon Studios, they make Ori, which is one of my favorite games out there. I think they would be a good pickup, but they're not really like a centralized studio. They're more of like all over the place. I think they'd be good, but they kind of take a long time to make games. Remedy maybe would have been good last gen, but I don't see that really happening. IO Interactive would have been a decent pickup for like Game Pass stuff if they would have put Hitman out there, but unless something happens on that front, I don't really see that. Who's really even left? It's kind of hard to even get like, it would have to be a smaller studios, I think. When will 4K streaming work on Mixer? I have no clue, Big Daddy Tomcat. No clue at all. Mercury Stream, yeah. I mean, Mercury Steam, they did the Castlevania games. They're they're a decent studio. I haven't played their new game yet, but they're pretty decent. So yeah, it's been a wild ride on YouTube. 10,000 subs, over 2 million views. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Someone says you talking. I'm gonna just kind of. All right, I'm gonna unmute and I hear myself. Okay, it sounds like everything's good, at least on my end. Let me know if their audio sounds good. Thanks for all the congratulations. I really appreciate it. I enjoy making content for people, and it's kind of weird when you think about it. Like, people actually like listen to me. I've never said I've always had the answers. I just like giving my opinions on stuff. So, when I started the channel, I wanted to I mean, there was no really main goal, to be honest with you. It was just like, I want to make videos. There are games that I enjoy playing. And if you go back and look at the very beginning, like it was a whole bunch of indie games like Firewatch, Dear Esther. It was a whole bunch of stuff. And then I transitioned more into news related things and stuff like that, and opinion pieces. And we do the podcast with Jez, which I really love doing. It's been a wild ride, and I don't even know where it'll be a year from now. Like I've heard the complaints people do have, you know, where originally it was just like a still image, which I'll be the first one to admit I don't really know much about making a good video. My PC is 6 years old, and the reason I don't upload more often in 1080p is because it takes forever to render on my PC, and then it takes forever to render and upload to YouTube. So I've been saving all the money I basically get from YouTube. I'm gonna build a better PC so I can do faster, renders for videos, because I want to do better videos. I like watching Colt Eastwood's videos because the production value, the production quality of those videos are really impressive to me, and I would like to make videos like that, right? So I've heard the complaints. I'm gonna try to fix that in the upcoming year when I buy this PC. But so let's. I see we got some questions. What I saw one from Saltiest Gaming. How did you decide to do the podcast with Jez? Well, that's a kind of interesting story because me and Jez talk a lot in DMs, and sometimes we would have these Skype conversations where we would just talk about things happening in the industry or things that both of us have heard, behind closed doors, so to speak. And, I think Jez said to me, like, hey, man, it's nobody's ever going to hear these epic conversations we're going to have, right? Ever, because it's just on Skype and it's just us two. So we decided, you know what? Let's do a podcast together. And that's essentially how the Xbox 2 came about. It was like taking those conversations we had about video gaming on Skype on those rare occasions and actually doing them live. What's up, UK Daz? Lubbo Gopher says, what's the one video that surprised you how much it blew up? And the one video that thought you would do better than it did? Well, okay. The Cuphead video, which I think is like 250,000 views, I had no clue it would do that well. Absolutely no clue. Same thing with the Crackdown video. I know I got a lot of flack for that Crackdown video. Both of those videos, I had absolutely no clue would reach the audience they reached, period. So I'm still kind of surprised. I'm probably more surprised at the Crackdown one, to be honest with you, because Cuphead, people were looking to consume Cuphead videos, right? So when the Crackdown one kind of blew up and got me in trouble from everywhere, basically, like it felt like I was getting attacked by Xbox fans and all over the place, and like I didn't expect the response, and I didn't expect that video to do what it did, to be honest with you. It kind of got me in trouble in more places that I would have wanted to. The video that I thought I would do better than it did, I don't know, because YouTube is weird these days. Like, with the whole demonetization stuff, and the video gets demonetized, they don't really push it out to subscribers, to, stuff. So it's like, some of the videos I think do well, but then some don't. So I don't really have one in particular that I thought like, oh man, this is going to kill it. And then it didn't. But you never know with YouTube and how they do things, right? Because if a video gets demonetized, it gets flagged. Sometimes they don't push it out to the people that should watch it. So, yeah. So Switch your next grab. So David wants to know if Switch is my next thing to grab. Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick up Switch next year. It seems to be like a phenomenon. People are really enjoying it, so I'm gonna grab one. I'm gonna try to grab one and enjoy some of the game. I'm not a mobile gamer. So it would be docked most of the time, but I mean, I'll try it out, because I do like to play games from different places. Mike Jones wants to know, and I get this question all the time: why did TXR stop? I get this question a lot. Like, my DMs are full of that question about TXR. I actually get messages on Xbox Live about it. It's a very sad thing. So TXR was a show that for a long time I loved to do. I had really fantastic, great times with my bros, Tim Dog, Maka, Inferno, Doc, and South. We did that show for so long, and then at some point, it didn't feel like fun anymore. It felt like a job, and it felt what's the word I'm looking for? It lost its luster. Like, there was a point where I looked forward to every Monday to doing the show. But then at some point, I dreaded Mondays. I didn't want to do the show anymore. It felt like a chore and a job, and that's something I don't want to have happen. So, it had nothing to do with me having my own YouTube channel or Maka having his own. We were all good doing the show. It just, it just wasn't what it was. Like, I could tell, and this isn't just a knock on anybody in particular, but nobody wanted to do the show anymore. And that goes for like all of us. It wasn't just like I didn't want to do the show anymore. Nobody was excited to do the show anymore. And you can go ask any of them. You can go ask Tim, you can go ask Inferno, you can ask Maka. Every time we talk in our like private DMs, like, hey, we doing the show tonight? Nobody will respond. And then an hour before the show, somebody be like, I can't make it, and I can't make it. There was no enthusiasm for TXR anymore. And because of that, because every single week we'd come, be like, all right, who's going to be on the show today? And nobody would respond. And then an hour before the show, everybody is like, can't do it. I felt like, well, we're not going to drag this out anymore, because I felt the show was lacking. And I could tell the listeners could feel it as well. Because if you're not having fun doing something, I think it comes across to the listener. So it ended because nobody wanted to do it anymore. That's the honest to God's truth. Now, there's some other behind closed door stuff that did affect it a little bit, but the main reason was because the members of TXR didn't want to do TXR anymore. And that's the honest to God's truth. And it's sad because we put a lot of effort into it. We put a lot of time into it, and it sucks that the channel's gone, that it was deleted. But the thing about YouTube is you have to want to do it. You have to want to make videos. It has to be fun, right? Because if it ever becomes a job or a chore, that's going to come across in your work, and people are going to realize that. I honestly really enjoy, even though it's low quality, even though I just kind of like grab OBS, look at an article and kind of read it, I've actually enjoyed doing that. I actually enjoy the process, and I want to get better. I want to make better quality videos for the people that have subbed to me and that watch all my videos. Salty wants to know who was on TXR. So it was myself, it was Southbound 110, it was Beastfire Tim Dog, it was Maka 91 Productions, it was Inferno 217, and then originally also we had Lone Master Who, Jeremy Downer, and we also had Doc Cupcake was there, and Worrywart was also there as well. So we had there was a few members there that kind of came in and out, but those were the main, the mainstays that were on the show. And I enjoyed doing the interviews and things like that. Um, Alexander says, "Have you ever wanted to do industry interview videos?" Interview videos. Yeah, I mean, I like doing interviews. Uh, I really enjoyed having Mike Ybarra on here back in August to talk about the Xbox One dashboard stuff. So it's always pretty cool to get to interview people. Um, but there's just a lot of people. I mean, I would love to interview Shannon Loftus. I would love to interview, Phil Spencer, even though I've kind of mini interviewed him in Party Chat on Xbox Live one time, but that was just for me and him. He'll know what I'm talking about if he's listening, which he probably isn't because he's a busy man. But I would love to, and there's a lot of people I would love to interview, and that's one of the things I did enjoy about TXR was the interviews that we used to do. But that time is over, and it's TXR, man. What else can I say? It was a great show, and I'm sad to see that it ended. And I wish the channel was still around in some form so people could go back and watch it if they wanted to. We had some good times there. So yeah, 10,000 subs. I mean, that was kind of the main reason I wanted to do this because it's amazing to me. People watch the videos, subscribe, and I'm just floored by the support that people have shown me. And I just want to do this to thank everybody. If you're just tuning in, ask me anything you want, and we will talk about it. I'm sorry, Delilah. I'm sorry. Rand, your video is always specific and on point. Hell, you even show proof. You see, that's the thing. When I watch videos, I kind of want to see the proof. It's not that I don't want to take people's words for it, but like when people tell me things, I want to see it on screen. I want to see it with my own eyes, and I want to hear the person's opinion. Like, I've gotten the criticism that like, hey, you need to have gameplay, but it's like if you want to see terrible gameplay of Knack or terrible gameplay of any other game out there, or Call of Duty or Destiny, there are a million channels out there that have gameplay of said game, right? So, I mean, I get it. You want to watch something while you play, but like I always thought the information and seeing it with your own eyes was more beneficial than watching, someone run around in Agents of Mayhem for 3 minutes, But that's kind of my thing on it. But that's mostly to do with my shitty PC. What's going on, Alex? How swole is? Oh no, it's Alex on a scale of swole to oh my god, them glutes. I would have to go with oh my god, them glutes. Too sweet, right? Too sweet. Can you loan me $6.23? No, but I can loan you a $3.50. $3.50. Will I be on Weapon Wheel Podcast? Asked Luke Taylor 1313. I have done Weapon Wheel a bunch of times. Whenever BG asked if I would be a guest, I always, if I'm free, I love being on the show to talk about that, video games and stuff like that. So, if they ever want me on, I'm always here. See what else we got. Sir Galahad, does it seem like Microsoft slowed down with their exclusive output, whereas Sony's is ramping up? Yeah, we've talked about this before. Microsoft and their exclusive problem, and Sony, running into what essentially is a dearth of exclusives. Microsoft is a victim of cancelizations and shutting down studios, Scalebound, Lionhead, games getting moved from this year, games not being ready, like Sea of Thieves and State of Decay and Crackdown. So they had a new system they were R&Ding. They were doing stuff with backwards compatibility and a whole bunch of other stuff. Phil himself has mentioned in interviews that there was a time when they didn't invest evenly in first-party content, and obviously that is pretty apparent that he's talking about like the here and now because stuff isn't available. Yeah, next year looks good, but that's only because next year looks good because all the games that are coming out next year were supposed to come out this year, and they just moved it all next year. So I want to see the promise that Phil has said about investing in more content and things like that going in the future. So hopefully we learn more about what Xbox has under the hood game-wise sooner rather than later. And Sony, I mean, they cultivated their first-party studios pretty well. And it's paying off for them. It's paying off for them. They have a dearth of great looking games coming out next year. You have God of War, you have, Detroit Become Human, you have Spider-Man. I mean, the list goes on, and that's because, Sony took the time and carefully nurtured their studios, invested in them, believed in them. And that's what happens when you do those things. Microsoft is they really haven't done that. They've shuttered more studios than they've opened and stuff. Hopefully that changes, like Phil says it does, and I believe him because Phil, number one, has always been honest. So when he says things, I believe it. But I mean that's kind of, I don't like repeating myself because I like to say like one thing. So it's like the exclusive problem I mentioned before, and I'm mentioning it again now because it's a question and answer. But I don't like doing videos like, because it would suck every single day to tune in and be like, hear the same thing like Xbox has no games and stuff like that. But since this is just a question and answer session, I'm happy to answer it. DRM Sparkles wants to know if I played Sonic Forces. No, I have not. Fart Collector wants to know what do I think of the hardware issues? Yeah, I hear that some people are having issues with the system. I mean, it's not a surprise. It is a brand new electronic product, and those things always have higher failure rates than, iterations of it down the road. I mean, you knew this was going to happen. I mean, it happens with like everything. I'm not sure how widespread it is, because if it was like really widespread, we'd hear about it. I think there's just maybe like a batch of systems that went out, and weren't properly made. I don't know, but I mean, it's not a surprise. This kind of happens all the time. Rocky Punk wants to know, what do I think of Anthem, and what's your most anticipated game for 2018? Grass to 10,000. Well, thank you. What do I think of Anthem? I think Anthem looks really good, although I'm a little bit worried about EA and their love affair with loot crates and microtransactions. So I think that game is going to be chock full of stuff like that. I do like BioWare, so I am interested in the game. And currently, my most anticipated game for 2018 that is announced would have to be Spider-Man. I love Insomniac games. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and that game looks absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think Spider-Man looks better. If there was like one game that was announced for next year that I would play above all others, it's definitely Spider-Man. From the trailers we've seen to the gameplay segments, that game looks fantastic. Let's see what else we got here. What Redemption wants to know what games has Xbox got next year that you think can take advantage of the Xbox One X? Well, I mean, what game? Like their own games. Sea of Thieves is probably going to look absolutely gorgeous and run incredibly well. Their first party studio game. What else do they have? I mean, their first party studio games would take the most advantage of the system. I mean, look at Gears of War 4. Look at Halo 5. Those two games were really improved for the system. It's because they can focus just on that system. They don't got to worry about PlayStation or Nintendo. That's why first party kind of matters. So I'd expect those games to look the best. And if Forza Horizon 4 comes out, I mean, that game's going to look amazing. I would also expect like Red Dead Redemption 2 to look incredible. Rockstar always wants their games to look best. I don't think they'll hold back as far as any marketing deal. But the thing about the Xbox One X is it's going to make a lot of games run better and look better. I always got this question like, why did you want the X? Or what do you need it for? It's to play the older games better? Like, I don't care about the 360 and original Xbox stuff. I'm in the here and now, right? While it's great that people love backwards compatibility and some of those games are enhanced, like I'm about this current generation and forward. So the fact that everything going forward, all the multi-platform games next year and then the year after that and the year after that are going to run amazing on the Xbox One X because it's a better system than the original Xbox, right? It's a better system. And for someone like me who spends a lot of time, the vast majority, playing games on the Xbox platform, it was a no-brainer to get the Xbox One X. This isn't a Sony versus Microsoft thing. This isn't a PS4 Pro versus Xbox One X thing. This is an Xbox One S versus an Xbox One X thing. Xbox is my primary platform. I play everything on it. It made absolutely 100% sense to upgrade the platform I play on. I couldn't care less if it was better than the Pro, right? And I didn't even care that the Xbox One was a lesser system tech-wise than the PS4. It never bothered me. It never bothered me when I was playing games in lower resolution than other people on the PS4. It never has. So to me, it was like, I'm just going to get a system that is going to run games better and display them better. I'm going to have a better time, mostly because of the poor performance stuff. Hell, when I loaded up Gears of War 4, I started playing it in 4K, the visual mode, but I eventually settled on performance mode because to me, your game can look as pretty as it wants. Like Need for Speed looks good, but all the resolution in the world isn't going to make a bad game play well. And Need for Speed currently, it's an okay game, but it doesn't play particularly too well. And it's just like there's only so much you can polish a turd. It's still a turd at the end of the day, right? It's still a turd. Resolution doesn't do much for you. It just makes it look better. But the game's going to be great regardless. Like Tomb Raider, Resident Tomb Raider is a fantastic game on the Xbox One S, right? And of course, it's just going to look better and perform better on the X, and that's why I wanted to get it. I don't know. It had nothing to do with the PlayStation. It had nothing to do with anything else. It was literally, this is the best Xbox that you can get currently, and that's why I wanted it. Hippie Crusher wants to know thoughts on the Observer game. Observer is great. I have a video up, a review on it. If you're into like cyberpunk, like a detective game, I think that game is totally awesome. Optimus Specs wants to know how's it going with school. School's going good. You know, I think maybe we had 2 semesters left. Might take more classes. More like I kind of want to like do more with like graphical design because I'm in like business administration for my major, but there's some stuff I want to do, you know, at school to learn more about making better videos and doing more graphical design for thumbnails and stuff like that. So I might actually take more classes along those lines to, you know, better myself and make better videos for everybody out there. I don't have a 4K TV. Would you still recommend the X? Here's the thing about the X, okay? It depends on how much you use Xbox. If you're an Xbox gamer like I am and you play it all the time, I think it is absolutely 100% a good buy because it's going to make your games run better, even if you're on 1080p. You'll get the super sampling and stuff, but it all depends on how much you use the system. If you don't use the system that much, then I wouldn't really recommend it. But if you're someone like me who uses it all the time, then it's 100% yes. So it all depends on how much you use the system. If you plan on using it 50 hours a week, of course, get it. It's worth it just for the performance gains, like Delilah just said. If you use it 5 hours a week, then I would probably say no. You know, 4K TVs are important. And you got to research 4K TVs. Not all 4K TVs are made the same. So, you know, you could go out there and get a cheap one, but you'll probably regret it because a cheap 4K TV isn't going to display an image as good as a $3,000 like QLED or whatever. So you have to make sure that when you go buy that 4K TV, you're buying a really good one because you don't want to buy a crap one because that can kind of really affect it. So you know what? Let's do this. Let's see here. All right. My question: how fat are you? Mm. Wouldn't you like to know? I tell you, man, people can be assholes. I mean, I got a picture up on my Twitter. I'm not I mean, it is what it is. You can go take a look. So let's see. All right, so I'm gonna put a code in here for a game. All right, there you go. That is for Mutant Football League. If anybody wants to play it, you could check it out. And it's a pretty cool. It's in game preview. Um, which let's see, what else do we have here? What do you think it would take for Xbox to make their single player games as popular as the multiplayer stuff? Hmm. What do I think it would take? Man, it would take commitment because there's this sentiment that like you take Rise and you take Sunset Overdrive and you take some of their other games in Quantum Break, it's like they give up after one game. And to get people really invested in a franchise, you have to do sequels. I mean, look at Uncharted. Uncharted 1 didn't sell very well, but Sony stuck with the franchise and look what happened. So I think part of it is like there's a lot of people out there that don't really have faith in Microsoft to make sequels to any of their games that aren't Halo or Gears, right? So I think that kind of says it all. Like it would go a long way if Microsoft. There's a question mark in there because I wanted everybody to get a chance at it, and so you'd have to guess what it was. There you go, Sponge. You're welcome. So I don't know. I think Microsoft has to be confident in their games and make sequels and get people to care about it because there's that sentiment. It was just like, well, is there really going to be a sequel to Quantum Break? If there's, like I'm not going to get invested. It's kind of like TV shows. Like you can't really get invested in something if it's just one season. You got to know like there's reason to invest in the story and the characters. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Which studio would you want to buy Microsoft? Or what studio would I want Microsoft to buy? I mean, like if we're saying you can buy whatever studio on the planet Earth, I think the best studio to buy would be Rockstar, but that's not feasible. I mean, if you had to like list the best studios out there, it's like Rockstar is number one, and I think Naughty Dog would be number two, and who would be number three? I'm not even really sure. But I mean, if they had as much money and could buy as many studios they wanted, I would buy Rockstar. Hey, thanks, Trace, for the compliment about the show with Jez. Rocky Punk says, Rand, did you hear Cyberpunk 2077 having a multiplayer element? Yeah. Supposedly they're working on one. That is kind of the future. I mean, I'm not surprised. Gaming Forte with the $5 super chat. Thank you. He says, congrats on the successful bro. You've done a great job being on the voice community. Let me buy you a drink and hope to see you at 15,000. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. It's going to take time. Views and subs don't come overnight. I see people that start up their channels and want get like down on themselves because nobody watches right away. It's like, listen, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes commitment. You can't just expect I'm going to start a YouTube channel and then everybody's going to listen to me and I'm going to have millions of views and hundreds of thousands of subs. Like it's a journey. It's a process that you have to go through. I find for me personally, I found consistency and daily content helps out a lot because I don't know, like it shows people that you are committed to making videos on a daily basis, so they like can kind of like with the whole Microsoft thing I was talking about, invest in what you have to say, right? So if you make a video one week and then you don't make another video until 2 months later, I mean, don't be surprised if people don't watch. It's kind of got to be you got to be in people's consciousness every single day. You know, new video on Monday, new video on Wednesday. I mean, whatever fits your schedule, but it's got to be consistent. Consistency is key, you know? At least from my perspective on YouTube, uh it's it's a process for me. What else we got here? More questions. Fall of Duty wants to know, is it better for Xbox if Shannon Loftus leaves Xbox? You know, I've seen a lot of people say this, that she's not doing a good job, or that she needs to go because she runs first party studios and stuff like that, right? From my understanding, she doesn't really run first party studios. And she's not really in charge of that. She's just in charge of making deals with second parties to make games. She's a businesswoman that signs contracts. From my understanding, I mean, I could be wrong, but this is what I've heard. Phil is still very much in charge of first party studios like Halo, Minecraft, Gears. They all still directly report to him. He is directly responsible for all that. Shannon just makes deals and cuts deals between Microsoft and second party studios to make games. At least that is from what I heard. I mean, I could be 100% wrong, but I'm not sure she's in charge of first party studios like people say she is. I think Phil is still very much in charge of that as being the head of Xbox and having those studios directly report to him and stuff. I think Shannon's job is a little bit different. Now, whether you want to say that she's the face of first party, I mean, I guess you could say that, but you know, Phil would say that probably the blame would go on him because he's the boss, right? So I don't know. Like, I'm not a person to say, like, you, number one, we're outsiders looking in. We don't know the budgets on any of these projects. We don't know any of the type of deals that you're limited by. So, and we don't know when these deals were even made. Like, there was clearly an issue when Xbox was under Terry Myerson. You know, budgets were scaled back. They couldn't do as much as they wanted. And that's why Phil's recent promotion means a lot, because Xbox's mission statement when they were under Terry Myerson and the Windows and Devices group was to make Windows better. It was to use Xbox to make Windows more popular. That was what Xbox had to do. That was its like core mission statement, was the use of Xbox to make Windows better or more popular and sell more and make more money. Now that they moved Xbox and they moved Phil out of Terry Myerson and he's on his own, he can do his own thing. Now it's about making Xbox to better serve Xbox itself, but also, of course, the company in general. Like, obviously, everything you got to do there has to benefit Microsoft. But the difference was Xbox was supposed to, was goal was to make Windows better, but now it's Xbox is there to make Xbox better. So there's a big difference. So, I mean, when Super Lucky's Tale and all these deals this year were signed, I mean, who knows what the type of budgets they had at that time. So it's, look, and Microsoft is a company that will get rid of you in a heartbeat. If they feel that you are not living up to their expectations, you're gone. You're absolutely gone. So if people felt at Microsoft that Shannon Loftus wasn't doing her job properly, she wouldn't be in the position she is. She'd be gone already. They don't keep people around. Contrary to popular belief, they don't keep people around Microsoft just because. So if you're not doing your job, you're out. If you're losing money, if you're not doing, if you're not producing and the schedule that they want, go find a different job, is basically what it is. So Uh, let's see what else we got here. Should Microsoft buy Japanese studios? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think Microsoft should try to get more Japanese games to come to the system. I'm not sure buying Japanese studios would benefit them in that way. I think Microsoft needs to what's the word I'm looking for? Have better relationships with Japanese games, because there's a rumor going around. I don't know if you guys saw it about games showing up at PSX. It was Devil May Cry 5 and also Soul Calibur 6. And the rumor is that Soul Calibur 6 would not be coming to Xbox. And potentially Devil May Cry 5 wouldn't be either. They'd be like a Sony exclusive or a marketing deal. So, I mean, you got to stop the bleeding there at some point. I mean, part of the reason why it's, people say PlayStation had such a great first this year. One of the reasons why people view like Sony had a great year was because they had a lot of de facto Japanese exclusives, and like Neo and Nier and stuff like that. And because a lot of the Japanese developers feel that there's no market for their game on the system, so Microsoft has to change that. Whether they have to directly coax developers to develop their game for the system by paying for it or giving them money, or just promise more things. But I'm not sure buying a studio is the best way to, for that. But one second, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta do something really quickly. All right. So where were we? Where is another question? Uh, Alloy Chloe Price wants to know: should Xbox give their developers creative freedom like Sony and Nintendo give their first party studios? Of course they should. I mean, that's the kind of thing. That's the perceived reality, is that 343 will never make a game that's not Halo. The Coalition will make a game that's not Gears. Turn 10's not going to make a game that's not Forza and stuff like that. And I agree. Like, sometimes you got to give the developers creative freedom to make what they want to make. Now, I hear Microsoft lets Rare do that, but I don't know. I think it'd be better for Microsoft if maybe they let 343 spread their wings a little bit, maybe do something different, maybe a different type of game. Can you imagine like an open world Halo shooter or something made by 343 and not just directly a shooter? I mean, there's different things they could make, different projects you could work on. And I mean, I think it would only benefit them, but we don't know what exactly, like I said, resources, time, money, and all that stuff. Like, I mean, I would love to see the Coalition make that Shanghai game, right? Personally, like I think I'm a big stealth fan, so I would, they were originally doing that before when they were Black Tusk, and then they changed their name to Coalition. Like, not saying they should stop doing Gears, but like, I'm saying, like, it'd be cool if like they made a game that wasn't Gears. In my opinion, same thing with like 343, because you get stuff like Ghost of Tsushima by Sucker Punch. They could have kept on doing Infamous games. I mean, they did 3 of them. Killzone or Guerrilla Games, all they did was Killzone, and now they're doing Horizon Zero Dawn. They could have kept on doing Killzone forever, But I mean, Sony let them do what they wanted to do, and sometimes you get rewarded for that. Rocky Punk wants to know, Rand, what type of game would you like to see Xbox make? Also, game of the year. Well, my current game of the year is probably Wolfenstein. We will see if Call of Duty or Star Wars Battlefront or Horizon Zero Dawn or any of these other games I haven't played yet, like Shadow of War, Assassin's Creed, if they can knock off that game from the top of my list. But currently, it's Wolfenstein 2. I absolutely love that game. And what type of game would I like Xbox to make? Well, you have the shooter down with Halo. You have third-person shooter down with Gears. I honestly would love to see Microsoft make a stealth game. Like a Splinter Cell-esque game. Like Shanghai was kind of supposed to be before they started working on Gears. And honestly, it's part of it is because they don't make Splinter Cell anymore, or it's a long time in between entries. We don't really have a lot of entries anymore into the stealth genre. So I would love to see something, come out of that. Are you ever going to play Yakuza? Chrono Clicker wants to know. Probably not, but I mean, you never know what happens next year. If time opens up, if there's a gap in the schedule, I could probably play it. Fall of Duty wants to know if I'm going to play Persona 5. No, I have no intentions of playing Persona 5 right now, so that'd be a 0. Although, like I said, things change. Are you going to play Nier? Yeah, I want to play Nier. I have it. I do like Platinum Games, so I will play Nier when it comes out. Hey, Rand, enjoying your videos so much. Thank you for your hard work. Have you thought of showing other gamers how to get 1 million points as well? So hard, man. Thank you. Well, I mean, there is a website out there called trueachievements.com. They'll help you out with achievement stuff. I mean, you could just look at my achievement list and just scroll through it and just play what I played to get the same gamer score. But I mean, one of the things is consistency is key. Is playing. You got to play, man. I mean, you're only going to get 1 million gamer score if you play the games required to get it. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, it took me a long time. Granted, you can get gamer score a little bit more easily these days, as a lot of the ID at Xbox games are extremely cheap, and also some of them are extremely easy to get. So, there is that. Let's see. I feel like giving away another code. Let me look what I got. Let me bring up my emails and see. I got, if anybody saw, I did that video today for Assault Android Cactus. I do have an extra code for that game. So I'm going to drop it in chat here if anybody wants to play the game. No question marks. So if you get it, you get it. Cactus in the chat if anybody wants to pick that up. What 4K TV would you recommend? Like, I have a Samsung. I can't really recommend any 4K TV. So I mean, I don't know. Like, I would just research it, look at the user reviews on Amazon, go to RTINGS. They review TVs, get a good sense of what your budget is and what you want. I mean, you could go and spend like $2,000 on like a QLED or whatever, like an LG, and be like future proof, because those are probably the best like 4K. Make sure you get HDR. Make sure it's a 10-bit panel, so you can enjoy all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, man. It's been a wild ride. Sometimes when I made the decision to like kind of try to do daily content, not necessarily 3 videos a day, but at least one, I thought like, man, is there going to be a time where like there won't be anything to talk about, but there's always something to talk about. There's always something interesting going on in the gaming industry. I mean, think about it. Just this week, EA bought Respawn, like out of nowhere. And that spawns a lot of like conversation. The Xbox One X is out. How does that change things? Is it worth the price? Like there's always something happening. Visceral Games getting closed. Did EA close Visceral Games because they wanted to purchase Respawn? Makes you kind of wonder. Did one studio have to die for the other to live? Interesting stuff. So there's always something to talk about. And yeah, my channel is more Xbox focused than it is, say, PlayStation, and definitely more than Nintendo, because I don't really talk about Nintendo. It's honestly because like that's where my knowledge like rests in. I know a lot about Xbox. I know everything you can know about the system. I know a lot about the inner workings going on. So I feel comfortable relaying information about Xbox to people. A little bit less so about PlayStation because I'm not that well versed in the system. I used it from time to time to play the exclusives, but I don't have the hundreds and thousands of hours like I do with the Xbox. So, I mean, that's kind of why I focus on what I focus on. Jose Enrique Name says, "Hey Rand, congrats. Did you see the interview that Shannon did with Os Gamers? Said they have 18 games in dev. And what's your opinion of what she said to Ryan about Super Lucky's Tale?" Yeah, this was a hot button topic happened the other day. I mean, it's no surprise they have games in development. I mean, we know 343 has a game. We know Coalition has a game. We assume there's a Forza Horizon 4. We assume that Turn 10, they're going to be like, there's always games, right? The question is, are any of them not Halo, Gears, Forza, right? Like, so it's not surprising they have 18 games in development. The question is there any of those games that people really, really want, like that Horizon Zero Dawn new IP? That is the question people want to know. Which ones are the AAA ones, and which ones aren't like Halo, Gears, and Forza? And my opinion on what she said to Ryan about Super Lucky's Tale, I know people freaked out. Look, I've played Super Lucky's Tale. I got it early from Microsoft. I put my review up on the channel. You can check it out if you want to. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think the game is good, right? I think the game is worthy of playing. Whether that's at $30 or $10, that is up to you. But I think it's a pretty good game. I had fun playing it. Thing is reviewing a game it's a subjective experience. It's not objective. Like, I like this game, but that doesn't mean you're going to like the game, right? So Ryan didn't like Super Lucky's Tale. I don't agree with his review because I like it, but he damn well should give his opinion on it. He thinks it's a 5 out of 10. He thinks it's not any good, and he's entitled to his opinion because all of us have different opinions on stuff. Now, I think Microsoft executives should be above saying that to a reviewer, to be honest with you. Like, Shannon just should have never said anything, because it's not a good look to say you made good points, but at the same time don't discourage people from playing it. Like she should have just never said anything, to be honest, because a review is a review. Like I said, it's completely a subjective experience. I would hope that if I ever get a game like from I've never experienced a situation where, and I've done this, where I put a review out for a game and then have the publisher or developer like question me for it. It's like, listen, like, I'm not free advertising for you. Like, I am reviewing the game because there are people out there that trust my opinion on these things. I am not here to advertise for you, right? So I don't think she should have done that. I think she just, I don't know. I mean, because it's someone's opinion. I mean, how could you? I don't know. That's kind of where I'm going to leave it on that one. Like, I don't think she should have said that. I think Super Lucky's Tale is like, that's the thing about reviews. You can go find them anywhere. And yeah, Ryan McCaffrey didn't like Super Lucky's Tale, but the guy from Destructoid did, or the guy from Eurogamer did. Like, people always focus on the one negative review, but then they forget about the other reviews that are really good. Ryan McCaffrey gave it 5 out of 10, but Eurogamer says it's a great game. Patrick Klepek of Waypoint says it's a fantastic game that you can worth playing. But once again, people focus on the one bad review instead of talking about the other reviews that are really good for the game. But that goes for both Xbox fans and haters of Xbox. The haters of Xbox will point out the one bad review and they'll point out the bad Metacritic, right? And they'll ignore the other 10 reviews that are actually saying the game's good. And then Xbox fans, they only want to talk about the one bad review. And they only want to attack Ryan McCaffrey for giving it that one bad review, but then I don't see them talking about the Eurogamer review or the Destructoid review or even my review that I reviewed it even more better than the other people. I don't know. There's something about negativity that people just latch to, and it's disappointing to see, to be honest with you. I think Super Lucky's Tale, I mean, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I know Saltiest Gaming, and who's in chat, doesn't like that game, and nothing I'm going to say is going to convince you otherwise. You think that, money and stuff could have been used for a better experience or a different game, and you're entitled to that, to your opinion, but I don't know. I just hope an executive wouldn't tell me, be like, hey, your opinion's wrong, or don't dissuade. I mean, that's kind of what a review is. Reviews that tell a person if the game's any good or if they should play it. I don't know. Yeah, and Tryhard Fan says it's easy to get defensive for something you really enjoy. Totally, man. You make something and you spend a lot of time and money and blood, sweat, and tears on it, and then you have people come out there and say it's not any good. Yeah, people are going to get upset about it. Of course, because you're really attached to the product. Like, when I criticize Crackdown, in that Crackdown video, I know Delilah has given me crap about it forever, right? I didn't attack the game. I just was criticizing Microsoft's handling of Crackdown. But people don't view it as that. They view it as like, I'm attacking Xbox for whatever reason. And then people at Xbox, they thought I was being overtly negative and I was overreacting and it wasn't as bad as it looked and stuff like that. And look, I get it. Like, I've had conversations with people from Xbox who just they're too attached to the thing they've built. And I understand that. Like, when people criticize my videos, like, I want constructive feedback because that's the only way to grow. But also at the same time, you feel that sting. You're like, really? Like, you didn't like something I made? Oh, that sucks. So I understand it. Like, you spent a couple years on your life. You built Super Lucky's Tale. You think it's really good. People have told you it's really good, and then it comes out and the reviews are not good at all. And people are not liking the game, and you think like, man, they're just hating on me. But that's because you're really kind of too close to the project. You didn't really step out. You put too much of yourself in there. Proto says, Crackdown looks like crap, right, Rand? No, it doesn't. I always said it looks fine for what it is. I was always just criticizing the handling, the marketing, and the promotion of the game. I still think the game's going to be an absolute blast to play, and I can't wait for it to come out. I don't think it's going to get canceled. I see that kind of going around as well. Crackdown's going to get canceled, right? But I don't think it will. I think they just wanted to delay it because I had heard that the multiplayer wasn't going to be ready for launch on November 7th. And they saw how Agents of Mayhem got destroyed in reviews and how that game sold for not having a multiplayer. And maybe they thought, we need to put multiplayer in this game. It needs to launch as one complete package. Otherwise, Crackdown is not going to sell well. Plus, you get it out of a busy period. Call of Duty's back, right? You saw the news that it's selling twice as many copies as the last one. There's only so much money to go around. So you make sure the project is complete. It's got multiplayer, it's got single player, and you release it in a time that's better suited for the game. So it might work out and benefit for Crackdown. Let's see. Jose wants to know, are you going to do more podcasts with Tim? Yeah, we've talked about doing more stuff. me and Tim and Inferno and things like that. I mean, nothing to announce right now, but I mean, I love talking with Tim. I love hearing his perspective on games. So yeah, I love doing that stuff. All right, thanks, Daz. Thanks for dropping by and hanging, dude. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Um, it means a lot, man. It means a lot. Like the support, whether it's through the super chat donations, whether it's through just donations in general, people sharing the video out on Twitter, spending their time watching, asking questions here in chat. Like and honestly makes me like super ecstatic to do this stuff. Um I never thought I'd reach this point, to be honest with you. And I mean, who knows where the channel will grow in the future. And you know, I wish I could show more of my gratitude. It's just, it's always kind of tough, other than to say like, "Hey, thank you guys so much." So I'm gonna drop another code for a game that came out this weekend. It's for Skyforge. It's got standard Founders Pack. So if you're looking forward to Skyforge, or if you don't have it, there's a code for it right there. I should probably do more giveaways and stuff, because I do get a lot of these codes from developers and publishers that send it to me, so I can put up the video on the channel. So let me know if anybody gets that. Does anybody else have any questions for me before we get out of here? I didn't really honestly think it would be on this long. I mean, I think we're approaching an hour, and I know I'm kind of rambling. I'm sure people up there be like, "Come on, Rand, wrap it up." Doggy Dentures wants to know if I played Path of Exile on the X. Stunning. I have not played Path of Exile at all. I don't even have it downloaded. Maybe I'll download it again. Xbox One says he thinks that Crackdown should have been canceled instead of Scalebound. Ooh, that's interesting. That's very interesting, because, and I can see your point. Scalebound was something different than Crackdown. We've seen Crackdowns. We've gotten 2 Crackdowns already. So I could see why you would rather have Scalebound than Crackdown. I get it. What type of music do you listen to? Man, I go everywhere, man. Like I am a child in the 90s. That's kind of where I came of musical age. So like the grunge era, like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, stuff like that. I always still go back and listen to, and I listen to a lot of music. I'm just not really a fan of like country or most rap. So I end up liking, even like the older stuff. Like I love the Who and Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of have very varying musical tastes. Rocky Punk wants to know if Fable and Scalebound will ever return. Fable will come back. Scalebound, I think is done forever. But Fable will be back at some point. That is too big of a franchise to not come back. I actually, you know what? You guys are going to make fun of me. I actually do like Taylor Swift. I don't know why, but my sister listens to Taylor Swift all the time. So when she was here, she'd be blaring the music on throughout the house, and I don't know. I just kind of enjoy Taylor Swift. You can laugh all you want, but it's true. Gaming 14 wants to know what editing software to use to edit your videos. I use OBS to, like, when I'm on a website, I just kind of record, and then I'll throw the file up into YouTube. But when I use gameplay, I use Windows Live Movie Maker to edit all the stuff there. Pretty basic, but it gets the job done. I'm looking to obviously step my game up for when I get a new computer and do like way more professional type stuff. But that is what I currently use. Jose wants to know, do I still hear rumors from time to time? Of course, I always hear rumors. Always got my ear to the ground listening for what's coming down the pipeline. I have a few sources that are, that tell me stuff. Then sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. There's one guy who always, when he tells me something, it's like always 100% right. So Big Daddy Tomcat says Microsoft should make CD Projekt Red to make the next Fable. I agree. However, CD Projekt Red is never going to do that. They're too busy making their own new IPs and making their own money. Man, look at that. Look at that one dude. He's really, really salty. Sorry, bro. Gotta block you. Later, dude. God, I don't know. Some people are just haters, just jealous, have nothing else better to do with their life than come into random YouTube chats and just make up stupid usernames and throw insults at people. Like, dude, how pathetic is your life? How pathetic is your existence that you literally go and make a username like that and you come into a random person's chat and say those type of things? Dude, I pity you. I pity you, bro, because your life must be absolutely horrendous. Your life must not be worth living, dude. I am so sorry. I hopefully you can find the help that you need and can find some sort of guidance in this life. But man, can you imagine how terrible and how sad and pathetic your life must be to do that? Ooh, man. I don't know. I don't know. That is, whew. I wouldn't want to ever be in that position. Because I tell you what, if I ever did that, nah, you're right. I should probably just let it go. I didn't mention the name, but I'm just saying. Whoo. Anyways, guys, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I think we had a good question and answer session. So, okay, another question from Gaming Forte. Since you bought your Xbox One X for Amazon, what did you do with the GameStop money you made during that promotion? Interesting question. So, I did that stuff with GameStop, right? And someone on NeoGAF, before NeoGAF burnt down, actually posted a step-by-step way to turn that GameStop money into Amazon credit. And I actually did that. So I actually turned all that money that I used at GameStop. I had 500. I used 100 of it to buy a couple games, and then I used 400 of it, and I turned it into Amazon money. There was this like step-by-step guide you could do on NeoGAF. So I actually turned that GameStop money into Amazon credit, and then bought the system on Amazon. And thank God, like I actually got my system on the day it came out. So yeah, you'd have to search GameStop to figure out like the whole steps. But who knows with that site the way it is now. But thank you guys for coming out and listening and asking your questions. I hopefully you learned a little bit or whatever. Got some information out of me. I really do appreciate everybody for the congratulations on the 10,000 subs and all that stuff. It means a lot to me. Hopefully everybody here continues to watch the videos, shares out the links on social media and stuff. And we're gonna try to take the channel into bigger and better things in a new year. I'm gonna get a new PC. I'm gonna try to produce more content, better content with better visuals and things like that. So thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll see everybody tomorrow with a new video. But the next live show we will do is Wednesday with Jez for the Xbox 2. So until then, have a great one, guys, and I'll see everybody later.